Yeah, it's so nice
Don't
to see.
hesitate to say, suck it in. Oh, you're not going to feel it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ridgetop Yoga Retreat. We're doing a class outside today. We finally have our in-person classes going. It's been a long time. We're social distancing still, but we've started our classes. If you're just joining in, just get comfortable. We'll be starting standing up today, getting warm. So just get into a comfortable position and begin to calm your mind and relax your body. Ground down through the soles of your feet, having your weight evenly distributed on both feet. Palms facing forward, shoulder blades, bring them forward, around, and down. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the spine, and reach out through the crown of your head. And you can have your eyes opened or closed and just begin to focus on your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Remember, this is your practice, so do what feels right for you today. With each inhale, deepen your breath. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. And then slowly exhale out through your mouth. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. And slowly exhale out through your mouth. And one more deep inhale. And exhale. And then go back to your regular breath, inhaling and exhaling through your mouth. And now we'll get started. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead, reaching out through your fingertips for a full body stretch. Turn your palms out, slowly exhale, bringing your hands back down by your side. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead. You can take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And exhale, slowly release your hands back down by your side. One more inhale, reach up, arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, place your palms facing the sky. And on the exhale, just gently lean to your left, feeling the stretch in the right side of the hip. Right side of your body, take a few deep breaths here. Inhale back up to center and exhale right. Inhale back up to center, exhale left. Inhale back up to center and exhale right. Inhale center and exhale, slowly release your hands by your side. Now roll your shoulders forward and back. And then just gently bring your chin to your chest. Take a few deep breaths here, feeling the stretch up the back of the neck. And then on your inhale, draw a line with your nose up towards the sky. And just open your mouth slightly and feel the stretch in the front of the neck, the throat. And then exhale, slowly bring your chin to chest. Match your breath to your movement, inhaling and exhaling, getting movement in the neck. bring your neck back to neutral. And we're just going to gently, on the exhale, look over your left shoulder. Take a few breaths here. Then inhale back to center and exhale right, taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And then come back to center. We're going to inhale, reach your arms up overhead, going up onto the ball of your feet, on your toes. Full body stretch, working on balance. Turn your palms facing out and exhale, slowly release your hands by your side. Inhale, reach up, going on to your toes, working on balance. Engage your legs here, engage lift your kneecaps, and then exhale, slowly release. And now we're going to bring our feet hip distance apart. And we're just going to inhale, reach up, and then exhale, just begin to forward fold. Keeping a flat back as long as you can. Grounding down through your feet. Maybe hold opposite elbow to opposite hand and sway from side to side for the first forward fold. Have a slight bend in your knees. Then release your hands and inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. And exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Now we're going to come to the front of our mat, and we're going to get warmed up with some sun salutations now. So just take it, do what feels right for you. It's the beginning of practice. We're going to get warmed up here. So take a deep inhale, your feet are together, reach your arms up overhead, take your gaze up. And then exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back, keeping your hands on your calves or on your thighs. Reaching out through the crown of your head, take a few deep breaths here and pull your belly button in. Engage your core here, strong core. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. Now we're going to exhale to plank, so plant your hands, step back to plank. Engage your core, pull your belly button in. You can come to your knees if you want and flip your toes back. Now from here, we're going to lower down to the mat. Flip our toes and push up to cobra. Take a few deep breaths here. Your shoulder blades are back and down, pressing your palms into the mat. Your toes are pointed back. Exhale back down to the mat. Flip your toes. Push back to downward facing dog. It's the first downward facing dog. So you can pedal out your feet. Have a slight bend in your knees. Press your hips up high. And press your chest towards your thighs. Now inhale, look up between your hands. And on the exhale, walk or step forward to forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Now for coming down and going into cobra, You could also do chaturanga into upward facing dog. So I'm just going to show you the option. Coming from plank, instead of lowering all the way down to the mat, for chaturanga, going to upward facing dog, you want to bend at the elbows and then slowly shift forward on your toes, rock forward. Flip your toes and then come up for upward facing dog. So the only thing touching is the top of your feet and the palms of your hands. Your gaze is straight ahead. And then flip your toes and push back to downward facing dog. So you can do that. When I say flow through, you can either go down to the mat and do cobra, or you can do chaturanga into upward facing dog. So it's your practice. Do whatever your body's telling you. Right now we're just trying to get warm. So inhale, reach up, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plank. Plank your hands, step back to plank. Engage your core, make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. You can come to your knees to modify plank, and then we'll flow through. So if you want to do chaturanga, come down, forward, tops of the feet, and be careful of your low back. And then flip your toes and we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, look up between your hands. Exhale, walk or step forward, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana, mountain pose, getting warmed up. It's a good, beautiful day. And we'll do one more. So whichever you want to do to flow through, and we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plank. Plank your hands, step back to plank, engage your core. And then we'll flow through wherever you're at. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, look up between your hands. Exhale, walk or step forward, forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. Got all warmed up here. If you're getting warmed up, you can exhale through your mouth for a cooling breath. Now we're going to inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And then exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. And on the exhale, plant your hands and step that left foot back. You're going on to the ball of that back foot for runner's lunge. Your right knee is stacked over your right ankle, and you're pressing through the ball of that back foot. Then lower that back knee, flip your back toes, and we're going to come up to low lunge. So when you're ready, bring your hands to your knees. Your hips are forward, but make sure that knee is still stacked over the ankle. When you're ready, bring your arms to goalpost. Slight back bend, hips forward, and then raise your arms up for low lunge. Take a few deep breaths here. Then bring your hands to heart center. And we're just going to take our left hand and place it next to the right foot and just extend that right arm up towards the sky. You'll feel the twist. Take a few deep breaths here. And then bring that right arm to frame the front foot. And we're just going to shift our hips back for half monkey. So you can raise that front foot, have a slight bend in that front knee. Your hips are still high. You'll feel the stretch up the back of the leg. And then come forward to low lunge. Flip your back toes, lift that back knee. Now you can either hop that back foot or step that back foot to meet the front for forward fold. Inhale, reach up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. Good, good, get warm. Okay. Inhale, reach up. Arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step the right foot back, going into runner's lunge, pressing through the ball of that back foot. Then drop the back knee, bring your hands up to that left knee. We're going to go into low lunge. Bring your arms to goal post. Slight back bend and then raise your arms up towards the sky. Your hips are pressed forward. Your front knee is stacked over that front ankle. Your back knee is slightly back. You're not on top of that knee. Pressing the hips forward. Then bring your hands to heart center and bring that right hand next to your left foot and extend that left arm up towards the sky. Feeling the twist in that right hip. Take a few deep breaths here. Then bring your left hand back down to the mat and just gently shift your hips back, lifting your front foot, your toes towards the sky. For half monkey. Pressing the hips back. You're not sitting back on that back leg. Your hips are still high. You'll feel the stretch up the back of the leg. And your hands are framing that front foot. Then come forward to low lunge. Flip your back toes. Lift that back knee. And then you can hop or step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands heart center. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. Getting warmed up now. Now we'll come to the front of our mat and just place your hands on your hips. And we're going to step back with that left foot into high lunge. So the wider the stands, the easier it'll be to balance, especially on the ground here. It's uneven. Your hips are forward. Put a bend in that front knee. And then when you're ready, bring your arms to goalpost, slight back bend, and then raise your arms up towards the sky. We'll take a few deep breaths here for high lunge. And now from here we're going to go into warrior two. So we're going to drop that back foot down. You want your back arch in alignment with your front heel. Turning your hips towards the long side of the mat. And then when you're ready, extend your arms out to the sides for warrior two. So you want to make sure you can see your big toe in the front. Your front heel is in alignment with your back arch. Your shoulder blades are back and down. Your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. So your weight is on the outside of that back foot and then on your front foot. And then when you're ready, just take your gaze over your right hand. Take a few deep breaths here. And it's as if you're trying to pull the mat together. Your feet, you're engaging your feet, your legs. Engage your core, pull your belly button in. Then flip your right palm up, drop your back arm, and raise that right arm up for reverse warrior. Take a few deep breaths here. Then come back to warrior two. We're going to straighten that front leg. Shift your hips back. Reach that right arm forward. And then we're going to come to triangle. So bring the back of the right hand to the right calf. Left arm is straight up towards the sky. Straight line from your right hand to your left. Your shoulders are stacked over each other as if you're against the wall. Then come back to warrior two. And now we're just going to pivot forward and come into Tadasana, into mountain pose. Take a few deep breaths here. We're going to do the other side. So we'll step back with our right foot, going into high lunge. So you have a bend in that front knee. The wider the stance, the easier it is to balance. Gaze is forward. Bring your arms to goalposts. We're going into high lunge. So you're on the ball of your back foot, bend in that front knee. And then raise your arms up towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths here. Really pressing through the ball of that back foot and a bend in that front knee. The wider the stance, the easier it is to balance. Then drop that back foot down. Turn your hips towards the long side of the mat. And then extend your arms for warrior two. So that back foot is parallel with the back of the mat. You have a bend in that front knee. You should be able to see your big toe. Your hips are facing the long side of the mat. Extend your arms out. Shoulder blades back and down. Weight's on the outer edge of that back foot. Then flip your left palm up, drop your back arm down, raise that left arm up towards the sky for reverse warrior. Take a few deep breaths here. Then come back to warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Shift the hips back. Reach that left arm forward and then bring your left hand to your left calf. Right arm up to the sky for triangle. Your shoulders are stacked over each other. Your right arm is up towards the sky. And your left hand is on that left calf. Feeling the stretch in that right hip. Inhale back to warrior two. And then we're just going to come forward to Tadasana. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Now we're going to go into a wide-legged stance. And we're just going to ground down through our feet. We're going to go into a forward fold. So you can bring your hands on your low back or interlace your fingers behind your back. Take a deep inhale, take your gaze up. And on the exhale, just begin to hinge forward from your hips to forward fold. When you get halfway, stop. Lengthen the spine. Engage your core here, pull your belly button in. And then on the exhale, begin to forward fold. And when you get down, you might have to widen your stance a bit. And then just bring your hands down to the mat and see if you can get a little bit deeper into the fold. Now we're just going to walk our hands towards our right foot and put a slight bend in that right knee to feel the stretch in the inner thigh. And then slowly straighten that right knee. Walk your hands back to center. And then walk towards your left foot. Put a bend in that left knee. Then straighten that left leg. Bring your hands back to center. And now just place that right hand directly under your face. And extend that left arm up towards the sky. You'll feel the stretch in that right inner thigh. Your gaze can be forward or up towards that left hand. And then bring your left hand down to the mat, right under your face, and extend that right arm up towards the sky. And then bring the right hand back down to the mat. Bring your hands onto your hips and slowly roll back up to center. Now from here we're going to turn our toes out to the corners of the mat. Now ground down through your feet. Bring your kneecaps up, engaging your legs straight back. And then when you're ready, extend your arms out. Your palms are facing down. You're reaching out through your fingertips. Your arms are engaged as if you're holding a weight up. Your gaze is forward and you're reaching out through the crown of your head for a 5-point star. Take a few deep breaths here. Everything is engaged from your feet all the way through your shoulders, your arms. And just take a few deep breaths here. bend at your elbows, palms are facing forward. We're going to go into goddess pose. So take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, begin to bend your knees. And just stop wherever is comfortable for you. Make sure your heels don't come off the mat. You have a flat back. You're engaging your thighs here. Take a few deep breaths for goddess pose. And then come back up to 5-point pose, 5-star pose. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, engage your core. Begin to bend your knees into goddess pose. And we're going to add a little movement into this. Lift your right heel up and place it down. And then your left heel and down, going up on your toes, alternating. And then maybe see if you can go up on both toes, balance. That's really a lot on the thighs. And bring the heels back down. And then we're just going to come back up to 5-point pose. Take a few deep breaths here. And then last one, we're going to exhale into goddess. Strong goddesses, strong back, straight back. Engage in the thighs here, strong core. And then come back up, 5-point star, and release your hands by your side. We'll walk your feet in. We'll take a few deep breaths into Tadasana and mountain pose. Now for our balancing pose today, we're going to go do tree pose. Since we're outside and we're all warmed up, trying to find a level spot in the ground. Find your stationary point, your drishti out in front of you. And ground down through your feet. Make sure your weight's evenly distributed on both feet. Bring your hands onto your hips. And then just bring your right heel to your left ankle, opening up that right thigh. And you can stay here or bring it to your calf or bring it to your thigh. You just don't want to rest it on your knee. So wherever you're at is fine. Once you find balance, bring your hands to heart center. And then you can extend your branches out or extend them up wherever you're at. It's early for balance. Some days it's there, some days it's not. You can blow in the wind. You're just focusing on that stationary point. Everything's engaged here. You're grounding down through that standing foot, pressing that right foot into the left calf or thigh. And then bring your hands to heart center, your knee forward and down. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana. Each side is different, so it's you don't work on balance a lot. And some days it's on, some days it's not. So, okay, bring your hands onto your hips. And shift your weight into that right leg, right foot. Bring your left left heel to your right ankle. You can stay here and just kickstand it out, opening that right hip. You can bring it to your calf, or bring it up to your thigh. Just don't rest it on your knee. Then bring your hands to heart center and open your branches. You can extend them up. Wherever you're at is fine. Engage your core, pull your belly button in. Focus on that stationary point out in front of you. If you fall out of it, you can come right back into it. Each side is different. Then bring your hands to heart center, your knee forward and down. Good. That was good. Kick it out. We'll take a few deep breaths in Tadasana and mountain pose. We'll come to the front of our mat. And take a deep inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take your gaze up for a slight back bend. And then exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, flat back. And exhale, plank. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Engage your core, pull your belly button in. And now we're just going to lower down to the mat. And we're just place your toes facing the outside of the mat. We're going to go into crocodile pose. So stack your forearms over each other and just place your forehead on your forearms. Your inner thighs and legs are facing the mat, on the mat, and your toes are pointing out for crocodile pose. This is a resting pose. This is a really good pose for breathing. Your chest is slightly lifted. You're resting your forehead on your forearms. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Now bring your arms back behind you and go on to the tops of your feet or flat on the mat. Now we're going to go into locust pose, but we're going to go into it gradually. So on the inhale, we're just going to lift our head, chest, and arms. Your fingers are facing back on the inhale, and on the exhale, just release back down to the mat. So you're pointing through your toes, but you're not lifting your lower body. You're just lifting your upper body. So we'll do a cleansing breath, inhale and exhale. And inhale, lift your head, your gaze is forward, you're pointing through your fingers, your arms are lifted, your arms are engaged, you're pressing your hips into the mat and pointing through your toes but not lifting them. And then exhale back down to the mat. Inhale, lift. Shoulder blades are back and down. Your palms are facing down. If that's uncomfortable, you can have your palms facing up. Exhale, release back down to the mat. And one more inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Now this time the upper body is going to stay on the mat, and we're just going to lift the lower part of our body. Your toes are pointed and you're just going to lift your legs up, keeping your hips and your chest and head on the mat. You can turn your head to the side if it's uncomfortable being on your forehead. So take a cleansing breath, inhale and exhale. And inhale, lift, pointing through your toes, keeping your head down. And exhale, release. So you're engaging the legs, pressing the hips into the mat and pointing through your toes. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. And one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. So now you can continue doing just your upper body or lower body. Or when we lift, you can lift everything, engage everything, pressing your pelvis into the mat, your hips into the mat. So take a deep inhale and exhale. And inhale, lift. Shoulders are back and down, reaching through your fingers, reaching through your toes, pressing the pelvis into the mat, hips into the mat. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Good. And exhale, release. And one more. Inhale, lift. Really make it strong. Reach through those fingers, point the toes, engage your legs. And exhale, release. Good job. We'll push back into child's pose. Your big toes overlap, knees a little wider than hip distance apart. Shift your hips back. Bring your chest and forehead to the mat. Arms out in front of you. Take a few deep breaths here. Great job. Now we're going to come up to seated position to staff pose with our legs out in front of us. I hear the geese. That was good. That was good. With legs out in front of us, slight bending your knees here. Really ground down through your sit bones. Press your palms into the mat. Lengthen the spine. Reach out through the crown of your head. Take a few deep breaths here. Your feet are flexed and everything is engaged here. You're really pressing your palms into the mat beside you. And just take a few deep breaths. And then relax everything. And we're going to go into a forward fold. So take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, just begin to walk your hands forward for forward fold. Hinging from your hips, keeping a flat back as long as you can. And then exhale, forward fold. With each inhale, come up a little bit. And on the exhale, see if you can get a little bit deeper into the fold. Letting your head get you into that fold. Breathing into your low back. Trying to release the tension in that low back. Then slowly walk your hands back to center. And bring that right knee in towards your chest. You can leave it here. If you want more of a stretch in that right hip, cross it over that left leg. Wrap your left arm around the right knee. Place your right hand behind your right glute. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine, and on the exhale, twist looking over your right shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Then come back to center, release the twist. Straighten that right leg out. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. You can keep it here or cross it over your right leg. Wrap your right arm around that left knee. Hug it in towards your chest. Left hand behind your left glute. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, twist, looking over your left shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here. Release the twist, come back to center. And now we're going to go into bound angle pose. So just bring the soles of your feet together and roll out your arches. If you can bring them close in towards your body, that's great. If it's too much on your knees, leave them out a little bit so it's not so much pressure on your knees. Roll out your arches and just gently butterfly your knees out to the sides, opening the hips. And then come to stillness. Place your hands on your ankles or on your toes. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And on the exhale, just hinge from your hips, reaching through the crown of your head, coming forward. So your hands are on your ankles or your toes. And when you get halfway, stop. Engage your core and just try to lengthen your spine. You're going to feel the stretch in the inner thighs here. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly roll back up to center. Bring your knees in. And we're going to go on to our backs. And slowly lower onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Then place your feet hip distance apart on the mat, as close to your glutes as you can get them. See if you can touch your heels with your fingertips. And making sure your knees don't fall out to the sides of the mat. Place your hands by your side, palms facing down. Tuck your shoulder blades under. And we're going to go into bridge pose. So on the inhale, begin to lift your hips, pressing your shoulder blades and feet into the mat. And when you get up there, see if you can tuck your shoulder blades under a little more. Walk your feet in a little more. And now we're just going to really engage, press through that left foot and raise your right foot up towards the sky. Point your toe, point and flex that right foot, pressing into the mat, and then bring that right foot back down to the mat. Engaging your glutes here, lifting the hips high, and then extend that left foot up towards the sky. Point and flex your foot, pressing through that right foot into the mat. And then bring that left foot back down to the mat. Tuck your shoulder blades under a little more. And you can go up on your toes. Arch that back. And you can interlace your hands behind your back if you want. Then release your hands, come back to the soles of your feet, and slowly lower back down to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Now we're going to extend our legs long out on the mat. And we're going to engage our core and take a deep inhale. Raise that right foot, pointing your toes. 1, 2, 3. Engage your core, flex your foot, and hold. And then slowly lower your foot to the mat. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do that 2 more times on the right side, using your core, engaging that right leg. Inhale, lift, toes pointed. 1, 2, 3. You should only be about 6 inches off the mat. Flex your foot, push out through the heel. Hold. And lower. 1, 2, 3. And one more time, point, lift, 1, 2, 3, flex, hold, really push out through that heel, and lower, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll do the left side, point your toes, lift, 1, 2, 3, flex that foot, press through the heel, hold, and lower. 1, 2, 3. Point, engage your core, lift, flex your foot, hold, and lower. One more, left side, point your toes. Inhale, lift. 1, 2, 3. Flex, hold, and lower. 1, 2, 3. Hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. And when you're ready, extend your legs up for legs up the wall. You can point and flex your feet, get movement into the calves, into the legs. Now, if you have shoulder stands in your practice, you can do that now. Just make sure you don't move your neck. You keep your neck straight for shoulder stands, so you want to lift those hips, point the toes, make sure the knees are over the hips. And then from here, if you're comfortable, you can go into plow, which is bringing your toes down to the mat behind you. Being careful of the neck, bringing your toes down to the mat, pressing your toes into the mat. Being careful of the neck. You can have your hands on your low back, or you can place your palms flat on the mat. And then slowly bring your feet back to shoulder stands. And then bend your knees towards your chest and slowly roll down towards the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Inversions are so good to do every day to get the blood and oxygen back to the brain. And now we're going to go into happy baby. So your soles of your feet are towards the sky. You can hold your big toes or the outsides of your feet. Elbows are inside the knees. Knees are bent, soles are facing the sky. You can rock from side to side if you want. And then hug your knees into your chest. And we'll get ready for Shavasana. So your feet are long out on the mat. Let your toes fall out to the corners of the mat. Your palms are facing up. Your shoulder blades are tucked under. Gently close your eyes and bring your focus to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your shoulders, your upper arms, your forearms, all the way to the tips of your toes, or tips of your fingers, sorry about that. Relax your chest, your abdomen, your hips. Relax the front of your thighs, your knees, your shins. Relax your ankles, the tops of your feet, all the way to the tips of your toes. Relax the soles of your feet, the backs of your calves, the backs of your thighs. Relax your low back, mid back, and upper back. Relax the back of your shoulders, the back of your neck, all the way to the crown of your head. Continue your breath past the crown of your head, all the way past the tips of your toes. A continuous flow of air. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and move your head from side to side. And when you're ready, roll on to your favorite side. With your eyes closed, come up to seated position. Hands at heart center, thumbs at your sternum, slight bow to your head. Yoga is a journey. Thank you for sharing your journey with me this morning. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you everybody for joining in this morning. It was a great class, finally having people live here in person again. It was great. If you have any questions or ideas, please just send us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day. Namaste.